Hi, my name's Carol and welcome to my Aspergers versus Neurotypical channel. If you see an Aspie walking down the hall, don't be sad if she doesn't smile at all. You see, her mind is in the clouds to save us from our fall. The world will be a better place. She does it all for y'all. Okay. A theory that I've been developing over the years as I guess you might say my electromagnetic sensitivity has increased. I don't know if this is a advantage or a disadvantage. Many people say that psychic powers are a disadvantage because you always have these things coming into your mind that you don't want. And my theory has many little sidebars, but one being as we get older and our skin gets thinner, don't laugh, it gets less and less hydrated, and as a result we have less and less of an effective Faraday cage around our bodies. So this could be an explanation, one of many, that would explain why my, as I get older, as the decades pass, the psychic abilities seem to unfortunately go up. And by this I mean, okay, what do I mean by psychic abilities? No, I can't read your mind, but I can read your mood. If I am near someone, I feel their mood. It affects me. It intrudes my system. So that's not a good thing, because then if you go to work and you're in a cubicle next to someone else, which actually happened to me, and they're upset, I can't help but be upset. And I can even tell when they're upset when they're not talking. And I'll confirm it because then they'll have a phone call and, you know, their divorce is going on or whatever, and then I can feel, you know, then I hear the angry voice and I know that he was angry beforehand, and it correlates with the way I felt. So this is something that I think Asperger people have on a very high level, probably starting at a younger age. And it may not be due to the skin, you know, being less hydrated. It may also be just that you're born with the ability. Another, you know, theory that I'm developing is, maybe this is nothing new, but at least it's new to me, that our solar plexus nerve bundle, if you've ever seen the humans that have been dissected in China and then brought to the U.S., and they'll leach out everything but, for example, the solar plexus nerve bundle. And it is a very amazingly dense area. If you look at all the nerves in the human body, that's the most dense area, and it looks like, you know, 1,000,000 trees of life are in there. And I've also heard it said, for example, in the Master Key System book, written in the early 1900s, that our solar plexus is where we take in the infinite intelligence information. Combine that with the fact that people's hearts are the largest electromagnetic field generators in our body, and it's also been measured, as reported by Lynn McTaggart in the field, and then her references that she gives in that book. It's been measured that when you are 10 feet or less away from someone, their heart rate variability or other characteristics of their heartbeat and heart rate will register in your brain. If you put electrodes on their heart and electrodes on my brain picks up that person's heartbeat. So it's physically measurable. It is a real phenomenon that we humans can pick up electromagnetic signals that are representative of the mood or state of being of another person up to 10 feet away and perhaps much further. So if I can pick up your electromagnetic waves, also if my skin is thin and I'm less of a Faraday cage around my body, and if you want to know about what a Faraday cage does, if you have a perfect metal sphere, anything inside it will not feel any electromagnetic signal from outside, because that metal sphere around it basically always has to be at the same electrical potential. So it can't then transmit any kind of electric field inside. Now, maybe there are certain cases where it does, maybe super high frequency or something where the metal can't react as fast, and then it starts to have currents flowing in it, and in that case, maybe so. But in general, you know, for the currents that we observe on an everyday basis, a Faraday cage is That's what our skin does to our body if it's very hydrated. I mean, I'm not saying that I've heard this, but I'm just saying, as a scientist, I know this. It's a fact. You know, if you have hydrated skin, that water is conductive, and that's going to be a Faraday shield. As would say those metal curtains you buy, some people put them over their beds, and they claim they can sleep better because it maybe shields them from the electromagnetic radiation of maybe huge currents in their apartment walls, or water currents underneath, or a cell tower, or electric wires and transformers outside their window. Sorry to get on the sidetrack there, but I didn't want to just say Faraday cage if you didn't know what it meant. So Faraday cage of our skin, the fact that we can pick up electromagnetic fields from other people's bodies, and then the Asperger maybe being super, super sensitive. Perhaps it would be interesting to do a research project on Asperger people or autistic spectrum people to see if their solar plexus nerve bundles are more dense and maybe more branched, or some other difference from neurotypical people. Because after all, neurotypical, neuroatypical refers to neurons, neural pathways, which not only include our brains, but our bodies, especially the solar plexus region. And I might as well say, just to make this complete, that our heart is also its own brain, as taught by people at the HeartMath Institute. It's quite well known now. And so our heart sends more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. It's like our emotional reaction is immediate. It goes to the heart first. The heart reacts by maybe beating faster or changing its heart rate, and then that information itself goes to the brain to tell the brain how we feel. And then our brain says, oh, I feel anxious. Why do I feel anxious? And it looks around for an obvious reason to feel anxious, and then it might think that it's a certain thing. They could be completely wrong. But what you do need to trust is your heart rate and your body's reactions. You may not want to always trust your logical explanation of why you're upset. Just be open-minded about it, but you can be sure that when your body reacts suddenly that there might be something going on. So that's what I would always recommend, that we listen to our gut feel. It might be a sign that we need to get up and leave for a while to, escape some terrible, toxic effect on us, maybe from other people. And if we can't leave, all we can do is do deep breathing. I will be cutting and pasting this video because I'm sure that my tendency to go off into many tangents, because that's how I think in a nonlinear fashion where the branches go out and in and intersect, and in a three-dimensional form all the information is connected, maybe even four-dimensional. And the way we talk is restricted only to one-dimensional time with the words along the time frame. So that makes it very limiting for an Asperger person to say what they're thinking, because they're thinking in numerous dimensions, and you're only allowed to talk in the one time dimension. I should say, well, it is true that you have pitch for your voice to give one dimension, the tempo that you're teaching to give another dimension of communication. Like if you speak slowly, you're more relaxed. If you speak fast, maybe you're more excited. If you talk up and down like this, you're more energetic and you're trying to make your point. And if you talk very monotonous, you're very peaceful and quiet, calm, and there's no need to be excited. So those are, I must say, in the linear time dimension, there's multiple dimensions of language. But for the most part, when you're reading a book, right now we don't have color-coded reading for any other dimension, so we have to read with words on a single timeline. And so that's what I mean when I say our talking is one-dimensional, but our thoughts are numerous dimensions. So back to my original point about how Asperger's people read fields from others, and how, personally for me, my ability to read the moods of others is getting stronger and stronger as the years go by. Maybe because of my thinner skin, could be because I'm doing a lot of meditation. Maybe I should think of it as a good thing because I can read people. I certainly don't get ripped off. I can always tell when someone's lying. I can just feel it, So maybe I should think of it as a good thing. I tend to be a bit of a pessimist, because I'm an engineer and I'm a problem solver, and so we always have to look for the problems. I'm so trained to do that. I'm trying to be more optimistic. Okay, so my quality of psychic activity is increasing, so I'll pretend that's a good thing, or maybe train myself to believe that that's a good thing. And let me just say that if you're like me and you have psychic abilities that you don't like, because you pick up the vibes of others, and it makes you have a meltdown. You know, like say you walk into a room of crazy people that are all in a bad mood, or maybe even they're a good mood. Like you go to a baseball game and they're all loud and screaming and all, but you're overloaded. Okay, whether it's psychic energy or whatever, it's usually some form of sensory overload, whether that be electromagnetic fields, which I hypothesize that Aspergers people have a sense to read electromagnetic fields. Since I do, and I'm half Asperger, my son is fully Asperger, I believe that it is a property of Asperger people to have the ability to pick up electromagnetic fields from others, which is a psychic phenomenon. You know, it was called a psychic phenomenon, but now we're explaining it with science. So I guess I shouldn't call it a psychic phenomenon. I should call it a real phenomenon, a sense that can pick up electromagnetic fields. If I sit in front of a computer too long, you know, near the transformer, I feel ick. I call it ick. I-C-K, ick. That's my technical term for bad, chaotic, non-good electromagnetic fields. The Earth emits Schumann resonance, which is a very good electromagnetic pulsation that we feel because of the way, you know, like lightning and other things pass through the thin atmosphere. And if you do calculations, you know, and it bounces around in the thin atmosphere, like if this is the Earth and the sounds are, you know, not sounds, the electricity is bouncing around in that biosphere, it resonates at the Schumann resonance. I think that's about 8, something like that, hertz per second, maybe 7 hertz, maybe 11. Yeah, maybe it's 11, whatever, but it's somewhere around 10 hertz, and that's a good resonance. But when there's geomagnetic storms on the sun, that messes up the Earth's shamanic resonance, and sometimes people get all antsy. I certainly do. Or electrical storms. So if you're in a room filled with computers and people with bad moods, or just basically people that resonate at a different frequency than you're going to be bombarded with all these electrical frequencies that are like too chaotic for your pure body that just wants to be in nature and exposed to the calming shamanic resonance of Earth. You know, that's what you're geared to survive in. And everything else around you is not that frequency, you know, and then plus add to that the Asperger picks up electromagnetic frequencies in their sensory perception field, whether it be the solar plexus, nerve bundle, or the brain, or the entire body, or whatever. All these added together make the Aspies have a very special need for self-care. And that special need is to get yourself out of the environment of chaotic or unhealthy for you electromagnetic fields and into a healthy field. The fastest way to do this would be to dunk yourself in water, because water is the perfect Faraday cage, right? It's very conductive, and it's going to have fairly, uniform electrical potential throughout the water. So you jump in the water, or you go take a shower and you rub your skin with the water to keep yourself completely hydrated. And then you come out, I guarantee you, you're going to feel better. And I never really thought about it until my sister told me once, when she takes a shower, her bad mood always goes away. I think she told me that. I remember her telling me that. If my sister's listening, I think you told me that. I noticed it's true for me and for my son. My son takes really cold showers. That's his cure. I don't like cold showers, but any shower at all. The best thing would be to go sit under a waterfall, you know. Okay, so say you can't take a shower. Try to go out in nature. That is going to immerse your body into the, I don't know what the electromagnetic fields of the trees are and what they emit, but I'm sure it's good, you know. And the pine essence, you know, the essence of pine, I think it's called pineal, that, you know, that aromatic essential oil that the pine trees release, has been shown in scientific studies to increase happiness and be an inspiration and an uplifting kind of a mood. So that, the fresh air, the sunshine, full spectrum sunlight is a cure-all for many things. We humans evolved to get pure spectrum sunlight, and if we exist in fluorescent lights, even daylight spectrum fluorescent lights, which aren't really daylight spectrum because they're missing a lot of the middle frequencies. They have peaks that go, you know, like if this is the whole spectrum of electromagnetic spectrum of the sun, fluorescent lights have like peak here, peak here, peak here, maybe a hump over here, and it's like there's a bunch of missing ones. And same with LEDs. The only way you can get full spectrum sunlight is to go out in the sun. Second closest is incandescent lights, which are being phased out, sadly for Aspergers, because they're the only non-flickering light. Alas, we must take care of ourselves and only use incandescent lights. Now, another cure besides the shower is to go out in the sun. If you can't go out in the sun, get away from the goddamn fluorescent lights, okay? And any other buzzing and electromagnetic fields that you can. Hug someone that you love. That will help, because when you love them, you know, you resonate with them, and that might be some electromagnetic cure. Another thing is, and this doesn't really go along with the theory of electromagnetic field regulation, but laying in a bed that's very, very dark in a room, you're typically going to be away from people when you do this, so that's another way this works. But you lay in bed in a dark room and you completely relax your body, and you put all your mental focus on your body and away from thoughts. So don't think about anything, just focus on your body. Eckhart Tolle teaches this, and he has a lot of meditations online about being present and being in your body. And I've been trying this lately, and he claims that it is the best way to jumpstart your immune system is to put your consciousness on your body. And something that a lot of Aspergers aren't aware of is that they're always in their head, because they have such a big, you know, our evolved brain up here is so much bigger and more nerves for the Asperger, that we tend to spend all our time with electrical patterns up here. That's our consciousness. But if we take our consciousness away from there and put it into our body and feel our fingers, where do your fingers end and the air begin? Where is your finger? Feel that. Do you feel pain in there? You know, wiggle it, and then go to all the places in your body. And another thing is, when you're doing that, if you relax each piece, you know, like tense your hand and then relax it. That's called autogenic muscle relaxation. And you go through your eyes, relax. You know, tense your eyes, relax. Tense your throat. I'll hold a lot of tension in my throat, and then relax it. Like right now, I'm like busy talking, and my throat's kind of tense, you know. I would like to be able to learn how to kind of keep it relaxed, especially, you know, when I'm talking, so that I don't give myself a headache, which sometimes happens. That's like my bad, is I get talking, and I'm so excited that my voice resonates really loud in my head, and I'm tensing up my facial muscles and my throat, and I guess it just causes a headache, whatever. Shower, lay in bed, go in nature to cure electromagnetic field effects. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you very much. Please like my video. I made that out of small 1/4-inch tiles, and I got this for my daughter for $30 at a Canadian Value Village. And these are my fairies and angels for my physics theory. Angels fly the speed of light, but fairies hover over mass. Okay. If you see an Aspie walking down the hall, don't be sad if he doesn't smile at all. His mind is in the clouds to save us from our fall. The world will be a better place, he does it all for y'all. If you see...
We're out of sync.
Well, because, you know, I didn't know where the one
I
was.
counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.